All right, so gonna do a little more theory crafting. I didn't get to do too many decks yet, so this video is mostly gonna be theory crafting, like more of like the funner fringe decks. I did like a couple fun ones already, but uh, most of these might not be very high power level, or um, I might throw a couple. I did want to try actually build an aggro hunter, which actually sounds pretty strong. We'll see about that. And yeah, I have a couple other theory crafting videos I put out already, and well, the first one was mostly with like the most OP decks and like the most aggressive decks, and then the second one was some of the other good decks, and then a couple fun decks, and then this one's going to be everything else. And yeah, maybe I'll have a time to make one or two more of these before the expansion comes out. But I'm going to be on vacation, so it'll be just like a couple hours at night of free time, and same with like when the game first comes out. Unfortunately, I'll only be able to stream a little bit at night, like at most, if anything at all, on the first few days of the expansion. And yeah, so anyway, get into the theory crafting. I wanted to try and do like an inner fire mech priest. Um, so do that like because you have like the steam bot from the last game that has a really high health that's cheap, and if you could magnetize stuff to it to make it even bigger. I think it was unpowered steam bot, right? There's some other decks too. I want to make a meat wagon deck. Um, I completely forgot about that, and that's a mech. Because then you can magnetize stuff to it, and then it's just gonna summon any like big minions too. But I'm not too sure on how it would work. Yeah, that's why I want to build one. Because if you just leave it on the board, then they're going to be afraid of it getting magnetized, so they're going to kill it right away, and then it's not going to summon your good stuff. Um, or you would have to wait till a lot later to, but you could get pretty swingy with it. So standard only. No, oh, damn it. Whatever. Unpowered. I'll just do mech. Unpowered Steambot. Yeah, 4 mana 0/9. It is gonna get chipped away, but maybe you wait till just add one of the 1/1 magnetic minions to it, so it's like a 1/10. Survive a little bit more. Yeah, that and like this, the 3 mana 1/5. You add a lot of health to any of the mechs. This already has a lot of health. And then I could make everything cheaper with this, so you could combo the stuff easier. Oh, you know what? I think I might have like underestimated this card, and other people definitely are, because like it just seems like something that's like, oh, you just like add 1/1 to like one of these other 1/1s early on, and it's just really weak still, or it's just a 1/1 with rush. But what I realize is for is like any other mech, you just play it one turn later, and then it it gives any mech a rush. if you play them on the same turn. Like obviously, if a mech's already in play, then it's basically got magnetic as like a charge for them. But this makes it so you can wait to play a mech a turn. Like if you don't want it to like be exposed, depending on the type of mech it is. Like if you want to make sure you get the first attack in. Magnetic, okay. I think that this makes the cut, right? It's such a high health, and you could circle healing it up. You could also res it, and then same with actually any of these. So definitely like yeah, you can like res and then enter fire the next turn. Or what about this copper tail imposter? You throw this down, it has stealth, right? And then the next turn you play one of like a magnetic like this or anything that is magnetic. Yeah, that would be a good one. 5 health. So you give it 5 health. It's a 10/10. You could give it 5 health, divine spirit, inner fire. So it got 9 health. So that's an 18 burst. I think that's probably the most consistent way to go with it actually. And then you're reducing the cost, so it's likely to be 3 mana too. And yeah, you have like the double topsy-turvy, so you don't have to rely on like inner fire in case you get geisted. But for now, like unless Geist becomes popular, you could just whoops, you can just also like have double inner fire, double topsy-turvy, and you have triple the chance. And if you want to, you can throw in a Void Ripper. But I think topsy-turvy is better than Void Ripper in this kind of deck because a lot of times you don't want to do all your minions, or maybe if you want to do want to do all your minions, but you don't want to swap their minions because then they have a higher attack. Give a friendly mech +1/+1. In this deck, I don't. It's not the rush you want to give the mechs. You're not trying to trade. You're trying to like not trade and go face. Is there any other? I mean, you could put this just to protect your other mechs, but I'm not so sure. Because this also doesn't get reduced. It's like a mech card that can't get reduced by Galvanizer. This is just giving stuff a lot of health. This is probably like, this is, so anything that's magnetic that gives a lot of health is worth it. So that, yeah, that's worth it. And then we go the circle of healings to heal the stuff back up, obviously, and then inner fires, more health there for draw. Clerics for turn 1 and draw, obviously those. Shadow Visions to search for the stuff. Radiance to play it for free. I think for sure you want Math Dispel to get through taunts, but do you want 2 of these? And this cuts the other stuff that early on in the meta that's not going to be as important, but if people start like, how much taunts are there going to be in all these powerful decks? There's actually not that many. It's just like the Spreading Plague and the Malygos Druids, and in, against this deck, it's not going to go that wide, but it is going to be annoying. Oh yeah, you want the res to get back. Probably just one, right? Death Pain. Do you just have no deaths and pain, but then like I'm only fighting for the board with the early mix, and I don't have like any of. I only have like the 2-drop mech and the. I don't have any of the 1-drop mech, so maybe damage Stegodon's too slow. No, it's got to be worth it, right? Just yeah. Maybe I should go double Eternal Servitude. But if I'm going double Eternal, it's like you're by the time you do that, like you're gonna have a lot of dead mechs and like a cleric and everything. Maybe War Gear's too slow because you're trying to add lots of health for as cheap as possible, which is this. That's like your. This is like add +5 health to any of this other stuff, and it's just okay. So this is pretty much the deck, right? So now I just have to take out 6 cards. Yeah, I'm not playing this for the attack, and I'm paying for the attack though. So I'm gonna have to cut it, even though, but that is like one of the only add 5. Do I need Shadow? My early game's pretty weak, but and also I can't attack hurt big minions without death. I think you'd need like the Shadow or Death for to kill the first Mountain Giant in even luck. Otherwise, it's just gonna mow down all your dudes before you could get a chance to attack. I don't. Maybe this does require too much setup because you have to like. I can't tell. I should try and build a odd priest again now. See what they got because it was actually a pretty damn good deck. Like I mean, not compa- I would not gonna misspeak. It's not. It wasn't a good deck, but it was like good for what you thought it would be. It was like a lot better than people would think. So I guess you want to try and win on or definitely on there before turn 7, but so is this too. Because how many? Let's say probably like the more likely thing is right. You're gonna galvanize like this dude. You could like coin galvanizer, but if you're gonna do that, you could just coin it. If you have galvanizer and just this guy, not him, him, you could coin galvanizer and get this out on turn 2. If not, you could just coin out this, and then but then you want to get the radiant elemental down, right? I was trying to think like if you stick this to this, that's kind of like one of the that's like the first attempt, right? So then that's 10 health, and then so you just need 2 divine spirits, inner fire. But then like that has to like you're not gonna be able to. You probably won't have 2 divine spirits by then, right? Unless you like turn 2. It's pretty. This is actually trickier than I thought building this. That's why I almost like maybe you just go all in on the stealth one and hope that they don't have like a because like oh wait until your next turn too. See that's what sucks about this one is like you do have to go off the next turn. You can't just keep it hidden until you draw the rest of your combo. Or like or until you like magnetize dudes together. I guess you could just wait to play this until you have another magnetize like until you get like this guy or the other maybe I think man this is so high health it's like so tempting to not like I mean to bring it back and swap it but like it might be better just to try and go like for the plan their main game plan is to like get this down or like you hold it in your hand until you have this guy or the 5/5 and then you play it and then the next turn you put the 9 health and then you double inner fire and I mean you could also wait till you have the combo too like you just wait to play this you don't have to play it on turn 4 or 5 or whatever and then you could use these guys the galvanizer that one won't fight for the board too much, but this will fight for the board, and you throw this down. And if it's a deck that's not clearing this and fighting for the board, then you can just throw that on there and immediately like go up to 10 Divine Spirit Interfire, like get a 20/20 minion right there, or topsy turvy it and like smack them in the face like right there. I think that's probably it. You probably go for that. So as good as this might be, this could be just a completely different one, and you could just cut these cut it one internal. It's still maybe nice to have one of these to like bring back. Well, any of them are gonna have high health, so you're gonna have a shot, and then you could go to. Although if you play War Gear, you're not gonna have that much to combo. Maybe you just do one War Gear. I don't know. Maybe not. So is unpowered Steambot pointless then? Because yeah, that would be the one where you like just try and res them back and do it, which is man. I know this has like so much potential in this expansion too. I forgot to put this in like some of the other decks. Like all you have to do is put one attack on it, then now you have like put the 1/1 on there. It's a one man. a 4 or 5 mana 1/10. That's actually with taunt. That's really annoying to deal with. Like it's the whole reason why this sucked so bad before is like it's a 0/9, so you just like you could just look and it's basically like a heal for 9 that could also just get instantly killed by spells or like a minions that like with their abilities. So I gotta cut 3 cards. I could get greedy and just like cut either the pain and the death or both of them, because then you'd also guaranteed draw. Because I'm already thinning out my chance of drawing Divine Spirit by also adding Toxic Trees and Interfires, but and a death and a pain. I guess this deck's probably gonna not do that great against aggro, no matter how you build it right. So maybe you just cut the pain and go all in to be sniping like combo decks. Yeah, I think you gotta cut the Steam bot, and then if you're cutting the other one, that's like only cost 1 more, and it's gonna get rezzed for so much more. Then you gotta cut the Steam bot. So I got 1 card to cut. I could either cut 1 War Gear, but then at this point that's only 4 mechs that are buffing up health, so I don't think I want to do that. Oh, I could cut a Master Spell. But those draw cards and get rid of the taunts and all the death rattle shenanigans. So it's got to be a War Gear, Master Spell, or Pain or Death. And where I said I'm already like narrowing my ability to like get their health up. Like the whole point of doing the mech version of this is so I have like mechs that can buff other ones. Yeah, because War Gear into the Steam unpowered Steam bot like 4 into 5. That's so much like a 5/14 mech with rush, or actually with charge, basically, if you do it one turn and the other. I'll just say, since I don't have any AoE anyway, like just Shadowed Pain is not like that effective against aggro, so this is just more going to be all in against combo decks if like you just keep queuing into like Malygos Druids over and over again, like this is a really good solution to that. Whatever. Unknown. All right. Take a look. I wrote down a couple earlier before I left that I wanted to do. Wait, I did want to try and see how good an aggro hunter is, because there was like some neutral cards that I think people are overlooking completely that are surprisingly really strong in hunter, which is like candle shot into toxologist is actually really strong. Like getting a 2/3 attack weapon that you don't take damage on at the beginning of the game is really good. So magnetic poisonous. So you could do a aggro mech package too. That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. And then like this is gonna bust through stuff, and that's good. So let's try it an aggro mech hunter, and then like so you do all these one mana one. I don't, maybe this one's not good enough. Like I said though, I realized just earlier is that like you can wait instead of just playing it on in combination with or playing it after you play something as a follow up to buff something by one. You're not you don't use it for that. You use it to just give rush to something that's still in your hand. Oh yeah, you put these in there because like these aren't in most of the other agromech decks. I'd say don't want to have these because it's not worth like the 0 mana 2 even if you're buffing it up. But in a face hunter and like or an aggro hunter like with the hero power constantly peppering them too, I think it's worth it in there. And that actually does make this worth it because then these can also attack. You could actually play these on turn one, and it's not like a dead turn if you have this in your hand. So yeah, play this, and obviously the galvanizer is like the key. You could literally play all these cards all on turn one. So you want a mulligan for that, and like so candle shot into into this is really good, and that's like playing. That's like a oh you didn't draw the one drops, so you got that. So give it friendly mech plus one plus if it has death rate, it'll trigger it. So you're gonna be triggering your bombs. What about and the Joey? Yeah, that's good in this deck too. I don't think you want to do this. Summon 2 damage, summon a Goblin Bomb. Yep, that's really good for this deck. Obviously that fits in. Whirly Glider just summons a bomb, but that's like paying an extra mana for a 2/1. You're paying 1 mana for the O2 Goblin Bomb, and you're paying 1 mana for a vanilla 2/1, so that's not good. Um, no, I'm way off camera here, sorry. Okay, what about, yeah, so do you want this? It's got magnetic. Yeah, I can make these ones that are like peppering will stick around a lot longer, so that's fine. On this deck, you might want to just like cap out at like 3 or 4 mana, because now we're to random enemy minion. Oh, 2 goblin bombs there. This one's good, but it's like, yeah, it's deal 2 damage, magnetic destroy, and random. I think that makes the cut even in here. Man, I just filled up the whole deck with just neutral aggro mechs, and then I think you want like a secret pack to do, or is that just too? You probably want at least a hunter's mark. That's about it. You don't want more than that. You want some secrets, right? Oh, play dead for I could trigger. It's not worth it just to trigger the bomb to have a card. It has to also do something else like that card. Flare, freezing trap to slow down trades or big minions or whatever. Oh, wandering monster. No, because they're not going to be attacking you here, because they're going to be trying to get rid of all the mechs. Could go deadly shot, but I think that with all the small attack minions, like it's probably better just to have hunter's mark. And then I've got the spider bomb and this, so I don't need actually. I probably actually even don't need the hunter's mark because I already have, yeah, like this and well, that's those they're gonna have to die for it. We'll see. Maybe the hunter's mark is good. You probably want double kill command, right, to like finish up over the. But this, there's no beasts actually, so that's never mind. It's 3 mana, 3 damage. Maybe you just do one bow, just for 6 damage. It's 3 mana, 6 damage over 2 turns. Unleash the hounds. I feel like a freezing trap to slow this stuff down would be good. Yeah, look at this. I'm capping out at 4 mana, and then this reduces galvanizer. That reduces everything by 1 mana. So like anything in your hand isn't going to be that expensive. Oh, what about do I do nah. I don't really need tracking because everything is going to be playable before turn 5. Oh wait, what about neutral? Yeah, abusive sergeant, diremoles. Oh, fireflies. That's a lot of extra minions. Oh, glacial shard. So it prevents when they have like their better health statted minions. It prevents them from trading early on. That's something there. I'm just gonna actually. I'm thinking that Might not need hunters, although I can, a silence could be good, like one owl. Weapon removal. Direwolf. You know, I could have only one spell in this entire deck. I could put Lore Walker Cho in there just to be fucking annoying. Actually, you know what? What about the new legendary? I mean, I could just play this and then like, but then how I can't trigger the bombs. Like, well, actually, I mean, I can magnetize to them. Like, two magnetize, magnetic there, trigger it there, magnetic there. You know what? Actually, I think that's it. I think you put him in as like, it's the end of the game. They, you obviously you don't want to keep this, but they just like they just barely held out, and then you play this, and then you have like an additional 8 damage that they can't stop you from doing to them. And if you're putting like these taunts, then they have to kill them, like the taunts on top of them. How much health did Because I could have, if this did 2, that'd be good. Or I could, yeah, have one Void Ripper. How good is Void Ripper on all these other minions besides triggering the bombs? Because Void Ripper is obviously really bad in this deck. Like if you just draw early, like you don't want to have that in your hand. But if it flips, some of these are high health. Actually, like yeah, if you're flipping that, you flip that and you just do 5 to the face, and that one too. Yeah, okay, it's probably good, right? Because they're almost like. What else is there to flip? Because most of them are like very similar statted, but they're all like there's 1, 1, 2, so it adds attack. If that's buffed by 1, 1, then it's a 1, 3, and then that gains 2 attack. Yeah, if any of these if any of the bombs, which is there's going to be a lot of them, get magnetized, you're adding a lot of health, so flipping them makes it a lot dangerous. So what do I cut? Do I cut the hunter's mark? Just go 0. I feel like you need extra. I know I have like the 2 poisonous ones, and then this Death Rattle Destroy, but like this deck will be particularly weak just to any taunt minions. So I think the Hunter's Mark needs to stay. Like if anything, I could add another one. Maybe I cut one Goblin Bomb. That's got to be the weakest card in the deck, right? Just even though it does do guaranteed 2 to face. Spider Bomb. it's also one of the ones that can be played for free on turn 1 with this. The Toxicologist is a lot better if you also have Eaglehorn Bow, which Eaglehorn Bow is going to do more damage. If you have Bow, you could play Toxicologist to make it a 4/2, so it's 8 damage instead of. Maybe I do that. Maybe just cut both Goblin Bombs. I feel like you really do want to go for that dream start though, of just like all these 1-mana mechs, just throwing them out right away. Maybe the Skater Bot. Because like I said before, I figured I was like the Skater Bot's more so not for the aggro decks. It's more so like, or I mean like the mid-range and aggro ones. It's more so for like playing, waiting to play a bigger mech one turn later, and then playing this in the same turn, so you could rush right away and choose what you attack into instead of. But yeah, like that getting a free +1/+1 right away is not to be underestimated. But everything is so cheap in this deck. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut the Skater Bots, and then that way I can add in one Eaglehorn Bow. Yeah, this is a lot of aggression. This is actually an aggro deck that seems fun to me, just because it's like so different from like anything else in the meta. Or well, there's other decks like it in the meta, but it's been a while since. For one thing, it's been a really long time since there's been an aggro hunter, but also it's a mech aggro hunter, which has never been a thing. That obviously. I don't want to put face hunter decks out there. I don't want to put any super aggressive decks out there because I hate them. The only way I don't hate this is if I get completely run over by Malagos Druids over and over again, and it's like, okay, fine, you want to do that shit? I'm just gonna play this aggro hunter deck. Whoops, deck builder. What else did I write down? Interfire, Mech Priest, aggro hunter. Oh yeah, the Giant's Paladin. And then you could also do Dino-sized Paladin, which is gonna be the same deck pretty much. I'm not sure which one's. I'm pretty sure the Giants one is better. So you do. What did I spell giant? Oops. Giant rat. So double sea giant, double mountain giant, and then you do the 4-mana card. This one that swaps a spell and minion cost. So then you run secrets, and then you you swap the cost of the secret this. So a mountain giant is now 1 mana. So it's a guarantee. The mountain giant's guaranteed. Um, Even if you had an empty hand, it would still only be 1 mana. But if you have any other cards, which you will, it's going to be free. So you could play it on turn 4, or if you have the coin, you could play a Mountain Giant turn 3. So you're basically you're like the same as like a even lock as far as how quick you get these out. And the Sea Giant's not as consistent, but if there's a single minion on the board, then it's also free, and that's probably going to be the case. You'll have to wait one turn if it isn't. So like there is like thought to just running mountain giants, but that's a little all-in-ish. And if at least sea giant, you can play just straight up play if you draw it, and the mountain giant so much you're not going to really be able to play if you just draw it in this deck, because you're going to be like playing the cheap secrets you draw just to stay alive. So I mean, just that is the whole like basis of the deck. So what else do you put? Like you could really build the deck in so many different ways than that. But I mean, okay, so you have to have the one mana cards though. This is just good because it's going to protect your giants when they do get played. If you have to play the secret, so yeah, you want to favor the stuff that's going to protect and the giants in case like they can trade into them to get rid of them. Oh, redemption, of course, because it can bring your giants back. And noble sack. Is 6 1 mana spells enough though to make sure that I think you need 7 to be really consistent, but 6 is probably good enough. But then, or you could do, you know, equality is not bad either, because that's just a good card. And then your mountain giant again is still going to be free. But actually, if you're playing the secrets, then you might only have a couple cards. So the sea giant though then is going to have 2 minions on the battlefield if you put throw equalities in your deck. I think it's worth it though. And the whole thing is like, oh yeah, well what if you? Because the equality is way better if you just draw it, haven't accidentally draw it. But then you have one mana spell, so it's more likely you're gonna swap out the 1 mana. But if you do it with the 2, it's not so bad. Maybe just go straight aggressive. You could put this in and a bunch of 1 mana minions. Oh no, you can't do the minions because then it can swap the 1 mana spell with the 1 mana minion. That's not good. So you can't have any other minions is the problem. Maybe this is trickier than I thought, because then if you can't have any other minions, I guess you could do all 2 mana spells and then do even lock. You can't have any minions or other spells because so yeah, you're gonna have to have 2 mana spells, right? Because you can't fill your deck with just weapons. So let's start with the weapons then though. I mean, Maul's good and that summons minions. That's early. You don't want that justice, but whatever. Um, the true silvers are good anyway. Yeah, so I guess you just throw a bunch of minions. I mean, weapons for sure. This one's really bad though. Oh, you could do a death hero, just as something that, because that's not gonna affect it at all. Uther, Vine Cleavers are good. That's a 21 cards actually. The weapons really. I could actually Valenier, but then this is not buffing minions. Oh, it's buffing the giants that you're gonna draw. Maybe you just throw it in just so you have to put less spells in. Light's Justice. If you're playing this many slow, you're probably trying to end the game quick, right? So you preferably want as less of the expensive weapons as possible. Let's not put that in for now. You can put this is okay. You can adapt adapt a token. Oh wait, blessing of wisdom. Oh, humility. Yeah, this will stall things out. But that's okay. This will make your weapons and minions. So that one's not as good to draw into. Maybe do two of these. Is there any other big minions that is worth it? Like, I mean, Tarim alone could be, but you're not going to be buffing a lot of your own guys, so no. Oh yeah, I actually thought I remember like yeah, Deathwing's actually good because if you discard, whoops, what did I just get rid of? God damn it, what did I get rid of? Oh, Uther, right? I think Deathwing's worth it too because he'll just be one mana, so you can't play because he doesn't have a reduction thing, and that's not as maybe you don't because like I think you want to go all in on being able to play a giant on 3 and 4, but you could also put Deathwing. And the thing about him is like if you draw it, then it's a 1 mana 12/12. That's probably maybe it's worth it because you wait one more turn for a 12/12. Yeah, but no, I don't think it is because the thing about the reduction, the swapping the health is like on that turn if you play it on curve, you're doing nothing on 3 or 4, which is it's not like that's that terrible, but with the giants you can play them on the exact same turn you play this, and so you could play turn 3 or 4, 8/8. Because like Ystera is also an option. Because like the thing is, if you just draw Deathwing, then it's okay because you don't care about anything you drew to getting discarded. Because, but I mean, you're not trying to get to turn 10 anyway. You're trying to end it. So like, yeah, you're trying to burst them down with the 8/8 giants, and then like you could finish it with all these weapons that you have. I gotta put Uther back in before I forget. Unless there's like, is there any other reduction minions that I'm not thinking of that are at least decent? What about like a 7 cost one or something? That would still be okay. Alexstrasza is actually good too. Maybe Alexstrasza, because if you can actually, actually Alexstrasza is actually definitely worth it too. Because even though this will get played one turn later, you're also just dropping their health by 15, so that's like 2 giant attacks. Oh, you could actually, is the one that where you summon the 7 mana that summons an 8/8? Oh, this guy. Forgot about him. Deal 2 into the. Oh, damage minions. Never mind. I was thinking of that for the hunter deck for popping the bombs. Like again, Lich King could be good. Recruit an 8 cost minion. Oh, I don't have any. You don't have any 8 cost minions. Never mind. Oh, well, I mean, unless that's a different route you could go. You could have multiple 8 cost minions that are just okay to play for 1 mana, but that's a little like. I feel like so you want to draw into some of this stuff. You need to get these, but you are mulliganing for them. So um, maybe you put the where is it at? Blessing of Wisdom, just so you can draw into that stuff more. Lost in the Jungle to fight for against the aggro just a little bit. Oh wait, maybe this is okay, because then you could give your giant a Divine Shield too. Let's just throw those in for now and see. Oh, this is okay. It's aggressive. You could put it on your tokens or your giants. Adapt could actually be good. Adapt a giant early on. Poisonous. Give something a poisonous. Maybe. Okay, now I actually have too many cards. I probably want to cut one of the crap secrets, right? Like this is going to be my only card draw, really. I'll cut the repentances. It probably is the hand of protection, right? Because the adaptation can get the Vine Shield too, but it also get poisonous. It could be work against with like your tokens, and this doesn't really. I know. For sure, I'll cut one, right? Of those, but probably both of them. Like Redemption's gonna just be bringing back one ones. But if once you have your giants out, you could just not play any one ones, and then, although it's just bringing back a 1 health giant. Is that really that good? Probably not. It's probably better just to give your hand of protection. You got Whirlwind with this too, I forgot. Yeah, that would be sick. So I just need to cut one more thing. Maybe I could cut Uther just because it's a completely dead card. At least True Silver. At least like Vine Cleaver, even you might get dragged out to turn 7, but it's not gonna get dragged out to turn 9, right? Oh, but then you can summon 2/9s or 2/2s if it does, and you'd have like 15 more tech. Maybe it's a Blessing of Wisdom, and you're more so going for the mulligans. Because if you have double Blessing of Wisdom at the start, that's gonna hurt. I'll just do one of those, and then yeah, the not the most consistent deck. This is like a very coin flippy deck. Now there's a very different deck with the same card, which is you go draft only dino sizes and then cheap minions, and then you swap the dino size with the cheap minion, and you get a 1 mana or 2 mana dino size, or you can go up to 3 mana. So, or you could do actually lay on hands too, and then that you could get like a draw 3 for heal for 8. That would be pretty good too. But then, because are you going all in on the 10 attack though? You might be, so you might not want this, but draw 3 for 2 mana would be really good. Except on that, it's not really like with the giants. It's just like a 4 mana or 3 or 4. Yeah, it's a 4 mana giant. It's like a 4 mana 8/8 that you could play. With like these ones, the difference is you're paying 4 plus the cost of the minion. So either like it's either 5 mana or um, 5 or 6 mana, or if you do 3 cost minions too, if you go that much, you could that would be 7. So you're, I mean, 5, yeah, yeah. So that 7's definitely not worth. So 3 cost minions is definitely not worth the value of it. So you definitely want to keep minions 2 or cheaper, preferably 1. Um, oh, you could Kangor's Endless Army too, wouldn't be too bad. And you could go like all the 1 mana mechs. Oh, and they keep their upgrades too. Ooh, definitely this is going down. Definitely this is happening. Because then you get the dino size one, and it keeps the dino size upgrade. So maybe you do want this for the draw. I don't know, or do you just want it guaranteed? So if you do just these, then that actually guarantees that the swap is going to hit at least one of the swaps is going to hit a dino size, and I think you want that. It's okay if one misses, but you want, because also you could still draw one. So if you added the lay on hands too, between the swap of missing and the draws, like that lowers it a lot. So I think even though lay on hands could be sick and it's an option, you probably don't want to do that. So this is so yeah, this is gonna be the key minion in it. So you want all the 1 mana mechs then. Maybe not this, but it's okay. Might as well play these, so if you do draw the stuff, then oh well, makes it 2, but that's okay, right? Yeah, again, because it's just a 6 mana dino size is not too bad. We don't want to be putting a lot of 2 mana to whiff, but this is worth it because I guess, or maybe it's not, because you're not going for like to try and blow them out with just the aggro mechs. You're trying to like set up the dino sizes. So maybe we'll hold off on this. Let's just do the 1 mana mechs first. Oh wait, actually maybe you don't. Never mind. Wait, what am I thinking? You don't want a ton of mechs because you want the endless army to guaranteed bring back specific ones. So yeah, wait, so definitely it has to be only the good 1 mana mechs because then you can play them on one if you want to, and then I guess then you're like whiffing, right? Yeah. So if you only had the fewer the mix better, right? Because then if you had Berserk for the... Wait a minute. So maybe it actually doesn't matter, right? If they're... Wait, it does matter. Because I mean, the mechs can get swapped with the thing too. You definitely don't want to flood the board with mechs. But like some of them are gonna get swapped for the spell. Like two of them are gonna get swapped with this, so you are gonna need the other ones, extra ones, to actually be played. The skater bot is good because you can play, you can wait, and then you can play rush and the 1 mana dino size on the same turn, just to trade for minion if you had to. But or you could, it's magnetic also, so this is just good in general with it. Because if there's already a mech on the board, then it's magnet, so it's charge, not rush. Like this is keeping the buffs. Like this is buffing stuff. Is this too slow? Oh, because if it gets swapped with that, then no, you can't do that because then this stuff's just gonna cost 4. I think that's about all the mechs you want, just like the Mecharoo, the Skater Bot, the Lumi. This is a 1 mana 1/3. That's good, right? That's just a good 1 mana minion to throw in because you want 1 mana minions. So basically, I pretty much only want 1 mana minions. So these are good, obviously, anyway. Whoops. The Fireflies are good. Oh, Dire Moles are good enough. They're good. Like cards that are already played anyway are just going to be auto include here. Because now I got to fill my board with minions and and I mean weapons like I did before. The weapons will beat them down. I think that's enough for that. Since this has a lot more minions, I don't need to like risk it so much with like the equality. Maybe with the other deck, actually, I don't need to risk it with the equality because I'm no, because I need to clear out. Yeah, I do on that one because you have to like clear out their other minions with your tokens. But this one, I actually have good early game minions to fight for the board while I set that up. So I can't play any of these spells, right? So, oh yeah, Righteous Protector. Don't want to draw the 1 attack minions. Although that, so yeah, I put weapons, the Maul for sure. This is actually pretty decent with all these 1/3s because they become 2/4s. Do double True Silver. Again, I could go Uther. This deck's going to go a little longer, so actually having Uther wouldn't be as bad in this one. Oh, Valinir is going to be a lot better because there are going to be a lot of 1 mana minions in my hand. And I could just go infinite, so that's definitely worth it. Maybe I just don't do... Oh, wait. You know what? The Sword of Justice is really good with Kangor's Angelus Army because they keep the buffs when they come back. So all of them are going to get buffed. So maybe I do 2 of these. I was going to actually just cut it, but then it is a lot slower. But I'm fighting for board pretty well with these anyway, right? And this can buff them too, though. Like +1, or give them taunt. But the divine shield won't stay because it gets knocked off before they die. Um, you actually don't want it to have taunt though, because you want. This is actually a pretty good deck too, man. Both of these versions are good, like the spell one and the minion one. This one's more consistent, but less. It has like it can't like just end the game so easy in the beginning like the other one, but it's more consistent. I need more draw, right? But because I have no draw. That's the other problem with this one. Is like the only way to throw draw in is to like make the deck a lot worse. To do like a two, is a 2 mana Dynasize or 2 mana Kangor's Army though? Is that bad? Oh wait, because it can't get reduced anyway, so I can't play it on the same turn anyway. It's just about like playing Dino Size on. If you like coin this out on 3, then I could play Dino Size on turn 4 either way. So you actually can play or Kinger's Army. Maybe it's not even that good. It's because like you have to wait. No, because I guess if you draw and you already have the board set up, I could swap it, and if I have any means on the board, I could immediately play this for like on turn 5 if I had the coin, or if like you're probably not gonna have the coin because you're gonna coin out multiple 1-drop minions though, right? Or unless I don't know, maybe you do try to save the coin. Maybe it depends on the matchup. Probably, right? I feel like with the endless army, it's definitely worth trying out. This is a little slow though, and this deck is kind of more on the fast side. I think for sure I cut one Maul. I could either cut one True Silver or just a random minion. Wait, like a Glacial Shard. Maybe I don't cut the Maul and like, because this isn't gonna help fight for the bull. Actually, it's gonna help me trade better. Maybe it's the dire Maul's a 1/3, so it's good. Statted well. Righteous Protectors, very good. Squire's pretty good. The Firefly's a lot of value. Yeah, maybe I cut just one shard. Looks like a pretty good deck to me. Theorycraft. Dino. I don't even, I'll just put 3 keywords in the deck. I don't have a creative name. I haven't done any mage stuff yet. I wanted to try and build the Luna Gazer Mage or whatever it's called. Luna. Stargazer Luna. And then the new. Make all your minions change their cost to 1. So, I mean, you could go multiple ways with the deck. You could go elementals. You could go stall until you could get like the big cheap ones. You want to probably go with a lot of cheap spells though, right? Because if you want to like chain and fill up the board with minions. So that's like the goal, right? So you want to be pretty minion heavy, and your removal you want to be all or mostly like if you want to guarantee just chaining a board full of minions. Um, you do cheap spells. So let's see. Whenever you draw a minion, add a copy of it to your hand, and that's going to be a really good combo with it too. But this is just icing on the cake because you're going to be actually if this is even needed because you're just going to be like oh because this is, you're only going off 1 turn with this because it's going to get killed after that guaranteed. So actually it is worth having Archmage because this is the other one is like you get throw this down for 3 mana you get or you draw the you throw this down and you draw cards and then you get multiple 1 cost minions. Actually, yeah, because it copies that minion. So these are good. That's gonna be good, right? I think you can go as much as 3 and it's fine. Oh, so glyphs are fine. And 3 cost cards is probably the limit, right? It's like Frost Nova Doomsayer is still. You probably don't want many 3 cost cards though, because you want to be able to like, if it's the rightmost card, you want to be able to play it. And if it's this, it draws more. So Arcane Elect's definitely fine, because even if you're gonna draw like 2 1 mana minions. Does the Apprentice make the cut? Like you're not gonna be needing to play a ton of them. Maybe Arcane Missiles isn't even good enough. I think you do Frost Nova for both stall and clear because you're not gonna be wanting to run like Flame Strikes and Blizzards, or if you do, at most you'll want to run 1. I mean, this is something you could play early, but now I've got 15 cards left. Don't I want to like have a shitload of big minions? So even if you don't chain together, just with the Pocket Galaxy, you still can just like play top deck big minions and play them over and over again. This is gonna Help stall. This is just like a good card, right? Or is it? Do you need spell damage minions for that to be good, actually? Draw 3 cards. Discard any spells drawn. So this is going to be good. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe you don't even want that in this deck because you're not really trying to draw cards until after this. And also this could, if you play it early, it can discard that. And if you have this already, you don't want to draw this because then you're drawing the cards before they get reduced to 1. So yeah, you definitely don't want to play that. This is going to benefit you more, right? I think this is going to, yeah, that makes the cut. Maybe. Wait, you're already going to be drawing a lot anyway. Yeah, you need to get to this though. And since you don't have as much stall, this stalls a little bit, but it doesn't clear. Yeah, Arcane Missiles I don't think is going to work. This is probably not good enough either. Mana Worms, I guess, will just fight for the board early, but then it's like, yeah, it's like if you draw it later, it's like, oh, it didn't even matter. This is, yeah, this is like, this is kind of tricky here. I think you probably like one polymorph just in case, for there's like a giant or something, right? Is a Lunith okay? Like, you're already going to be struggling to like survive until then anyway, right? Until you swing the game, and this is going to be a dead card, and it doesn't get reduced either. I think, but then later on you can draw like your 1 mana cards consistently. But now I don't even have that many 1 mana minions, so maybe the glyph's not okay. But the thing is, no, the glyph can discover blizzards and fire flame strikes though, so I think you do have to have it. I think it's the mirror image is probably not good enough. It's just gonna maybe just add a little bit of time is worth it. I don't know. Let's even cut the mana worm for now. Let's like figure out some better stalling. Actually, you know what? Maybe mana worm plus mirror entity is. Maybe, let's just put these in because like these two together is decent stats. Is nine minions enough? Because now at this point, yeah, I don't know if Luna is like since I have 2 arcane intellects and 2 research projects. I don't know. Maybe I think you do put Jaina as a plan B though. Maybe you don't, because you have to swing. You're going to be so far behind, you can't just like slowly crawl back in, and you're not getting that much value. So nah. How many spells do you have for Lunis? You have an okay amount of spells, so this is worth it. Cindergosa. Ooh, Antonitis. 1 mana Antonitis. One mana Toki for 1 mana is pretty tempting, but there's probably better stuff. Lich King. Alexstrasza for sure. Oh, Malygos. But then what do you have? You just have the Frostbolt. Oh, and the Antonitis. Ooh. So any of the 1 mana spells like this, any of your cheap spells, which you're trying to keep cheap, so you could play the rightmost cards. I guess you could go different routes. I don't know, maybe Malygos isn't. You're trying to like play a whole board full of minions, and you can just kill them anyway with the minions, so you don't need the spells so much. But this is like which minions do you hit, and it does have 12 health. This can just fill the board on its own. Ysera's good value. A 7/14 isn't necessarily bad. You're gonna draw through your deck so fast. Mecha'thun might not be like terrible. A 1 mana 10/10, and then you could just like play this as your last minion, as a last resort. Yeah, because you might. No, that's not your. Because this is like you're gonna get way behind and you have to swing real fast, so this isn't relevant. This can help keep you alive if you're barely alive. This can again fill the whole board, but it's just with 1/1s. Marin the Fox. There's other like there's OTK stuff you could be doing, right? But the OTK stuff involves like you have to specifically draw one minion and maybe you want all the minions to not be like completely dog shit if you have to just play them from hand like as 9 mana like well somehow you didn't draw this stuff. I guess this is okay, but it's still slow. Yeah, just throwing Malygos down is a huge threat. Take their hand for 1 mana when you start running out. They're like, there's probably some kind of like mid-range minions I'm missing that are like at 6 mana if you could just play them instantly are good enough. Oh, if you do magnetic stuff, you could go all in on the mech theme, and when you draw the magnetic stuff, you could keep playing it because you'll have room on the board. You won't run out of board room. But I mean, 7 minions is like 7 mana, so that's most of your turn anyway. Is this enough big? See all these big boys? I put a lot of 4 attack ones. You want ones that have like more 8 attack, so you could like just bust their face. Although like some, you want ones that can like either A, pretty much kill them immediately, B, heal you up, or defend you, or C, just have like a lot of health to like set up a onboard lethal next turn. I think I have too many. I think like maybe Ysera is actually too slow, even though it's Cindergrosa actually. The bad thing about it is that it blocks it puts like 2/0/1s, and so that's 2 spaces it's taking up. So that actually might have to get cut. Yeah, I think Cindergrosa gets cut. I mean, this does the same thing, but actually, you know what? But then you could play it after other minions get killed. But this fills up the board. Does it better? Yeah, I'm cutting Cindergrosa. Is there anything besides Ysera that just heals you up? Oh, you could get this going. That's why maybe it's like Starliner. So you specifically do 7 mana minions like Antonidas, this Bulldozer. Is Bulldozer worth it? They can't get rid of it very easily. You could do, you could try and just like burst them, and you could do like Leroy double Rocketeer. It's like you could do all charge minions. You could go that route. Like how much would that be if you only had charge minions and wow, actually that's something to know. So actually I'm gonna build that version. So I'm gonna do the same exact deck except I'm gonna do only charge minions for my minions. Besides maybe, yeah, I still don't know about this. I don't know what's like good for fighting for the board that's cheap. I think this is fine. It could also fool people into thinking you're like a different kind of minion mage or like an aggro tempo mage if you throw down that turn 1 mana worm. So you can't play Onyxia and Dragon Color. So that's the problem is if you play Dragon Color, you can't play these other ones, and you might have not played that many spells. Even if you did, the 5/5s aren't as dangerous. I think you actually have to cut that too. You actually don't want the minions that fill up, even though you could like save them and play them from hand later. Like you could go that route, but like you want to be able to like fill up the board with 8/8s and stuff, or like just big minions in general. You're probably gonna have a big hand, so like these aren't gonna be dead anyway, right? The mountain giants. The Mecha Cthulhu might be worth it just as a 10/10 body. Because what else is bigger bodied? Nothing, right? That's neutral. So yeah, I think you actually do put the Mecha Cthulhu in, and as like the small off chance of just happening to like if you burn through your deck fast, like it can kill them, but you don't ever like go for that game plan. It just is like an option. Then maybe like the Ultra Swords are actually pretty decent. Actually, that Bulldozer is really strong. It's got a high attack and Divine Shield for 1 mana. Can I put 2 Bulldozers? What about? I think you need the double Sleepy Giants because you might be so close to getting lethal that you do need those taunts. And Ysera's okay because it can add. What's it gonna add? Like it only has like a fifth. Let's see. The Dream's probably not gonna matter because you're gonna be able to like smash through. Um, although you could dream your own guy and like your own Alex and Alex your face or their face if you had to Alex your own face. Um, obviously the Nightmare is the one that you want in this deck. Burst for an extra 5 for and then or you Ysera Awakens, like you attack with all your minions and then you Ysera Awakens. And it has like a good chance of getting something that could help you in the game, so I guess you keep it in. And again, Malygos, if you have a spell, any of these spells, like they're all dangerous. I don't know, your hand's gonna get so full. Maybe this is gonna become a liability. I think just like the Arcane Intellects and the Research Projects are fine, and this is slow. So actually, then that makes it so I could put 2 Bulldozers. These really suck though. If I just draw them, that's the bad thing. At least like Ysera, you can just play, but I don't think this deck is gonna be like that anyway. Like you can't rely on just like playing minions and going late. Otherwise, I just put in Jaina. So I think that's pretty good for just like a more consistent, but not necessarily like an OTK kind of deck. But now I'll build one with only charge minions. So um, I don't even know what YTTT is. Unknown. Um, Big Luna. Yeah, that deck's probably your uh either versions you're just gonna die to aggro and then like anything semi-aggressive like is gonna blow you out probably and you're just gonna have to get really lucky with you're gonna have to get lucky on your draws and unlucky on their draws to win like that. So it's neither deck is great, but with the refinement maybe it could be a low tier 2, but at most it's like a high tier 3 I think. But let's try and build the same one. and just you have a bunch of charge minions. Whoops. So you can like once you set that up, you can just it depends on how late you wait to play her. I mean, the Pocket Galaxy, and then you play her. So I mean, at the earliest, you have to play it after Pocket Galaxy, right? So the earliest you could possibly play this is turn 8, and so you would have 5 charge minions if you played the charge minions on the same turn. But if you wait, if you want to wait, you could either play 5 charge minions on that exact turn if you to go as fast as you can, or you could wait till turn 9 to play 9 chargers. And then other than that, like the difference between 9 and 10 probably won't be a big deal. But if you can, if it looks like you can make it, it's worth it would be worth it just to wait because you could have that much one more chance at like drawing the minion that you need to kill for that extra damage, or then again, yeah. So like you'd have to feel out the situation because like it's like, are they gonna kill you next turn because they're aggressive, which is like you would have to go off as soon as possible, or are they gonna kill you on turn 10? Oh yeah, I wonder if faceless. Maybe I should have done facelesses and oh damn, there's because then you could do just no. But see, if you go all in on the faceless thing, then you're like an Malygos type thing. Then you gotta like you really have to have the Malygos drawn as one of the ones, and that so that's not good. So I think Chargers is better, but you can have facelesses in those. So either way, let's try and figure out the maximum amount of charge damage you can do in in like I said, if you played on turn 8. Technically you could coin, but I'm not going to count the coin. I'm just going to say turn 8, so you have 5 minions, because you're not going to save the coin for that long. You're probably going to, if anything, you're probably going to coin out the Pocket Galaxy earlier so you could play it a turn earlier, and then you'd only be playing actually less minions. But yeah, it would be better just to play out the Pocket Galaxy so you have more minions and more chances at drawing. So, Chargers. So, okay, so if you go, what's the most damage? Leroy, right? He still has like the most so 6. Wait, where's Leroy? Wow, this is lagging up so hard. I can't even like. No, not a wisp. Whatever. I'll just go here. I don't know. It's like catching, and most of this stuff is around 6 anyway, or 5. Um, so go Leroy. What sucks though is if you draw faceless first, you're wrecked. If like faceless is your right most first, you have to wait a whole turn. So that's 3 mana. So you get 2 more. So that's 12, 18. That's 18 damage. If you could copy it 2 more times somehow, then that's actually 30 damage. You could actually do 30 damage if you could copy Leroy. Wait, am I missing something? Oh wait, you could cube Leroy. You could hit with Leroy, cube it. Then you'd have to have a cube activator, and that's like a lot more cards. It's too specific, right? Yeah, you know. that's too specific. So really, you're gonna have those two, and then you're gonna have the two Reckless Rocketeers, and then so where are those? Oh, Argent's Commanders. So you put these in. I mean, we're putting all these in anyway, but we're not. We're adding up the 5 turn or the 5 minion ones if you play Luna on turn 8 with 5 other minions. So these are 5. So you could do 28 damage, but that's like the max. Realistically, it's just like you're gonna be like minusing, so it's gonna be more like somewhere around like 20 to 25. So yeah, you can't you you don't want to you don't want to do it basically. You don't want to drop Luna on turn 8 and then play them in the same turn. Or I mean I guess so you could get 2 extra chargers. Yes, because if you get 2 extra chargers, let's say because like you're gonna run out, right? You might draw the lower end ones, so you might get more around 20 damage, but if you waited till turn 10, you could play 7 of them. And you're probably gonna like earlier on, if you have nothing to do, you might just throw a charger to the face. So you might want to save them for defense though. You could also go magnetic. Like I said, you could go all in on the magnetic thing. But those don't have charge though. Like none of the mechs do. So that doesn't work. And then the one that have charge would have to be first anyway, or magnetic. So charge. So Wolf Rider's just enough damage. I don't think you want anything below 3, but maybe you have to. This can't attack heroes, so that doesn't work. How much damage is this? So let's see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can't even fit that many anyway. But then you're going to draw some of these, so you need more than that. But let's see as it is now, like without adding like the shitty charge minions. How much damage is this in one turn if you drew the least amount? So it's if you wait till turn 10 and you draw 7 minions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. So you don't draw Leroy in this, or you already drew him before. So that's Wolf Rider, and then you had to faceless the Wolf Riders because that's what you drew to your right. So 6 times 4. I mean, 3 times 4 is only 12. Add 3 more. That's 8 there. Um, so that's 20 damage and the 25. So actually, I mean, that's pretty good. So if the worst order possible happened with that, you would still do 25 damage, and you're pinging like, well, you're probably gonna ping defensively though, actually, just to survive. So that doesn't count. But yeah, that's like a bad outcome. But then again, like that's only 9 minions though, and you're gonna be drawing a lot before then, so you need to add more chargers probably. So yeah, this version's definitely worse, but it's like you could OTK him with chargers. But these can trade early on too. Like that's the good if you get like a bluegill and then at least oh yeah, the pirate doesn't even count. But so obviously Yeah, I mean, at least the bluegill could trade off early and fight for the board if you draw it early. Same with the wolf rider. They're like very poorly, but they're not as dead early on. But like the upside about this too is just later if you don't get the OTK and you have this, like you could at least you're drawing into your deck. Is there any way to kill your own Cthulhu with Mage really easily? Because this one might be worth it as like, never mind. Yeah, I don't know. Do you like go for the risk of not just chaining together all these chargers and not, or you add a bluegill in to put the damage even less. So if you add this in, then the worst result could be pretty bad. Like you just basically, yeah, you screwed yourself over if you like went bluegill into a faceless. Or again, if you, because you have to go off on the turn that you drop Luna. So if you drop Luna and you go faceless, that's already like a failure right there. Although like you could faceless. No, actually that's not like. I mean, you wouldn't be getting the charge damage, but you could faceless your own Luna, so like it would be really hard to clear multiple Lunas. So that's not like it's not a total disaster. Oh wait, what am I thinking? I'm adding 7 minions too, but Lunac is one of them, so you can't do 7. You can only do 6. So the least common result is actually 20 damage. It is with just this current thing here, you could do as little as 20 depending on the rung order. Or that was even if you draw a charger first. If you draw faceless, then you minus another 6, so you might only do 14 damage, and that's if all of these were still in your deck, and you only drew chargers. So yeah, I don't know. This just isn't even worth it then, because even if you stall to the end, like you're very there's going to be so much inconsistency. There's going to be a lot of times where you're not going to, because you have to throw other minions in there too, right? Because you don't want, again, you don't want the big spells, otherwise you don't want chain draw, and if you throw other minions, then that's just more minions that won't charge. So this for one's shitty. I don't know. I had to think about it. It was just like a thought that popped up in the middle of building the other one. So I'm not even going to save this one. It was a failure. Dang it, stupid Wi-Fi is just downloading so many updates. Okay, so what else is there then that I didn't already build? Have I built? I've built one of every deck type actually. So there's something to play for every deck already. I feel like what was there? There was something I wanted to do with I didn't build like just like a straight up quest priest. I'm gonna do that just because I haven't and see how how quickly the quest can get complete. If you just go for like more for speed, maybe not 100% for the fastest possible quest completion, but like somewhere in that ballpark, just so you could like defend yourself against aggro decks or like make sure you can like get to 40 before Malygos drops. So you got that for sure. Where's the quest at? Wait, where? Oh, there it is. Um, Crystalline. This just because it's a 1 mana death rattle. I realized this. I think I reviewed this thing way more poorly than it actually is because I realized with just this and a Radiant Elemental down, you can draw your whole deck if you want to. You could draw as much as deck as you want. So yeah, with like powered shields and topsy turvy. I don't know if you put that in here because you're already gonna be drawing well with the death rattle minion and like, but it's something that yeah for like OTK priest decks that's a pretty crazy combo. You do um, test subject on turn 3 you do or coin turn 2 you test subject a radiant elemental and then you throw powered shield on it and then you topsy turvy it and then it returns topsy turvy and powered shield to your hand and they're still free because they're then they just keep cycling infinitely until you draw your like you don't obviously you don't want to fatigue yourself but so you only draw until you have like 9 cards but you basically so on turn 2 or 3 if you have that stuff you could have 9 cards on turn 2 or 3. That's pretty ridiculous. That alone might be worth like I mean you could cut the cleric but then that's less defensive. I don't know, maybe it's worth it because Topsy Turvy can also destroy um, some of the Death Rattle minions. So you do this. Let's finish building this deck. Maybe you put that combo in. You still put loot hoarders in, right? Because you're trying to complete the quest quick, even though they're not nearly as good anymore. Oops. Oh yeah, Thalanos for spell damage, death rattle, and card draw. Now, you don't want to go too heavy on just speed because if you just have all these shitty minions, then what are you gonna do? I guess you steal their deck, right? You're going late with this deck anyway. Oh yeah, resummon or summon all these death rattle minions. Since you have that, you probably want like double statue, even though that wasn't in there before, because that's like really helpful for the board. You want this for when you run out of cards, because you're going to be running through your deck pretty quick too. Is Reckless Experimenter worth it? Maybe do the Reckless Experimenter and eggs too. And because like if these die, it's not that big of a deal. They all just draw cards, but then you'll be seriously overdrawing yourself. Like Coffin Crasher, you could play for 3 then. But if like Coffin Crasher pulls like this stuff, it's pretty poor value. But if it pulls that, it's... So you do the dragon. Oh yeah, you do Dustbreaker and whoops, not adapt. Or you could. Oh no, that wouldn't work. Death Rattle, Rush, and Lifesteal. This has lifesteal. I don't know if you want to now. If you have Zerk's cloning gallery though, Zerk's, then you actually don't want to draw the lifesteal ones like early on. You want to try and play that first. Get like the extra kills out of them. So yeah, Bone Drake. Is there any more? Is that worth it just with 2 dragons? I think you have to put more dragons in, right? Maybe you just cut that and then put some weaker AoE in. How many death rattles is this? 1, 2. Wait, I might cut this because if I'm not going to do the radiant elemental shenanigans, I don't have that many spells, so I don't have spells that I'm trying to make cheaper, so I don't even need the radiant elemental. I think maybe just adding this like makes it that much quicker and might make it worth it, but if I power word shield on this, I'm gonna get my power word shield back and can go on all this stuff, and that's good. So I think maybe that's good enough to keep it. Probably have to do. So you got to do to bounce the Zola, right? You want to be able to bounce your completed quest. So you have to put that in, and then I don't think you need Northshire Cleric anymore. Do you do double Spirit Lash, or is that good enough? I didn't even put Reckless Experimenter in because you could throw that in there and do like the middle turn where you like do some eggs and 3-mana Bone Drake. Like this is the version that's more for like speed completing the quest and drawing, and then you just like get their stuff so you have like more stuff to play. Oh, this is a death rattle and it comes back. This is a big value minion, so this guy has to go in here, right? And I'm gonna be getting like powered shield, but I only have powered shield is the only way to make it come back to life. So maybe not. I think you probably have to put more buffs on it, right? So never mind. It's a pretty solid deck. So what did it really add from the last expansion if you're doing a version where like this is more of against aggro, so yeah, I don't know. I'm missing dragons, right? Because you played like the Twilight Drakes before, right? And then I cut those for this, so like Dustbreaker's super inconsistent. Even though it's like better, I think it's so inconsistent that I think you have to cut it for the stuff that got added to draw faster. So because of that, you're gonna need to put in. I mean, it's pretty shitty about Holy Nova, right? Oh, I didn't put any shadow word pain or shadow word death either. Crap. Can I just cut the loot hoarders? But then I don't have as much death rattle. If this is just on average getting one power word shield, right? All it is just playing a death rattle menu and drawing a card, which is what loot hoarder does in his two attacks. So I think without doing that infinite combo, this is getting cut too. So I could go one death and one pain, and then my shadow visions then can search for either of those if I need it. Oh wait, do I have circle? No, I don't have circle of healing. Mass Dispel, is that worth throwing in there instead of like one of the Holy Novas? I mean, wait, what about instead of a Holy Nova, instead of like, I could go for the Divine Hymn. Oh, I don't have a lot of high health Death Rattle minions though. If I have the statues, should I? That's one of the things that's in there too. That's not normally right. I could put the Duskbreakers back in, take out the statues, but I think like with this it's good. But is it worth it just for that one card? Because I mean, isn't even that good in this version. I'm just gonna draw a shitload of cards, right? Oh no, I'll get. So what am I gonna get possibly? With this in here, it definitely makes it. Wait, I could. It's basically like a kill two minions, get two random dragons in your hand, draw five cards, six, and put two cards in your hand. Those are like my options. That's pretty good, especially like once you do bishop, or even if you do it before bishop, then you're gonna be getting straight to, yeah, you're just gonna be drawing cards quick and filling up your hand, and you don't have to play it. You can just like hold it until your hand's getting low in resources, and then you could combo that stuff with um, Anduin. Yeah, I think that's a good deck. So I think it did increase in. I don't know. It's worth thinking about taking out the obsidian statues and then putting in two more dragons, so that Duskbreaker is in there. I'll have to see if I could just get completely blown out or not. Fast quest. There's a lot more stuff I want to check out, but there's so many different versions of Paladin decks that could be good. Cause I'm like, I want to make like a control one, make one. I think from now on, now I might do some more theory crafting, but like for the rest of it, it's gonna be more fun just to like take one of these decks, like especially the Paladin ones, and like, um, I mean, this is like stuff you do anyway, and it's already fun, but it'll be funner just to like test it out on ladder and adjust it as like you're seeing things change and like seeing how things interact with each other in the current expansion. So I'll save some of it for that instead of just like completely like building all these different variations of the stuff. just for like theoretic situations that may or may not happen. So I'll kind of wait to see how things play out. And so I think that this could be the last theory crafting I do before it comes out, but I might get back on. If I get bored, I'll probably, I mean, the expansion's still not out for another 4 more days, actually 5 more days. And I was gonna go to one of the special event things where you can open your packs and play early. I really want to do that, but like that's like the first day that hold. At that point, like my family will be in town, and then they'll only have been in town for 1.5 days, and we're doing something that night too, which sucks because for that, that it doesn't suck we're doing something that night. It's just like that the event happened on the same day that it's the only day that we have something like actually like hard planned for when they come, and yeah. Anyway, uh, thanks for watching. Yeah, if you want to check out some of the more legitimate decks, I theory crafted those already, and oh, I did want to do a token druid too. Damn it. Oh well. I mean, I already. Yeah, the token druids. Yeah, I did. I mean, I kind of did want to do it. Maybe I'll do that later on one of the other days. I'll do a couple different druids. One like that's the current token druid with just like the new forbidden Floop's Gloop added to it, which should make it a lot even better. And then do one that has like some mulch munchers in there. But I'm gonna be done for the night, and thanks guys.